Uh, I think the audio is working. Well, hello everyone. I got a couple people in the chat right now. Let me know if you guys are having any issues with my audio or my mic coming through. That would be appreciated. If not, well, we can get started. So today my stream's going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past. The past few times we've been doing a lot of Xamarin work, but I also do web development work. And I've been working with DNN, .NetNuke, on some really cool features that we're trying to add in for the next big release. So let me just drop a link over in the chat for anyone that wants to follow along. Now, here's a link to the repository, and DNN was originally written on web forms, really, really old technology. It still works really cool. And one of the things that we've been doing to get it to a migration path for .NET Core is we're trying to implement Razor pages. So let me get a link for, I'll just actually slide this over into the view so we can all see it. All right. And yeah. So this is the spec that I put together earlier this year that talks all about what we're trying to do with Razor Pages modules in DNN. And it's pretty much going to be a carbon copy of what you see in .NET Core that allows us to migrate stuff or migrate the platform to .NET Core. So today, what I want us to try doing is following the spec here and some of the documentations on what a Razor Pages implementation looks like, and we're going to make a carbon copy of it in web forms DNN and see what we can get to work. So this will be a lot of fun. But before we get started, what I like to do at the beginning of every one of my streams is thank all my new followers. Past week, we've had 4 new followers. So we had Bali Pangala, good friend Daniel Causer from Toronto. Thank you for the follow. Thanks everyone for the follow. I am JSU and Save for Seed. Thanks for the follow. I am almost over 50 followers, which is that magic number to get to the affiliate level with Twitch, which is really exciting. I still got a goal of 100, so we're just about halfway there. And thanks everyone for coming in. Thanks for my viewers today. And it's an odd time. It's Saturday morning for me on May the 4th. And since it is May the 4th, I wore my Star Wars shirt that I'll show you. May the Source be with you. And it's my DNN shirt. So it's Star Wars Day, it's DNN Day. It's going to be a fun time. Alright. Now let's go back and share my screen here. Alright, I don't have my resolution set up right. I forgot to take care of that, so let me go and fix that. I'm not a real professional streamer. I'm just a hobbyist, so I gotta update my resolution on the fly here. I got some notes on that, so I gotta do. It all just works for the most part for me. I need to go and take a look at how I stream everything and see if I can make it a little bit easier so I don't need to do this every single time, but it's okay. Oh no, everything looks funky. Let's go fix that real quick. Frame rate. There we go. All right. This is easier for me. Change my resolution, make it so you guys can see my whole screen. I'll get around to changing stuff around eventually and make it a little bit easier on me. But all right, so let's update the font on this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Go like 24. I was having network problems earlier, so anyways. So I got my branch all set up. Last night I was playing around with stuff and got the latest code base building and running. Let me just close out some windows we don't need. Don't need that. Discard. So if I head over to, we'll get rid of Twitter. Don't want that. So if I head over, I already created this website called platform.dnndev.me. It's just on my local machine, so you guys won't be able to navigate to it, but it's just latest code base for 9.4 installed, ready to go. And I should be able to build code here. Uh-oh. I guess something got in an invalid state. Let me just close the solution. Don't save. And we'll reopen the solution. While I get this all set up, I'm going to be all over the place. If you are trying to run DNN locally, one of the things that I found is there's this build script here that's it's a cake build script, and if you just run it, it doesn't generate all of your install files, so you got to make sure you do targets build all for it to work. But I already did that last night, so we're not doing that right now. So what I'm hoping is I can just code here inside of the solution and be able to see our changes, which can be difficult. For me at least, it's been very difficult to get working correctly. So let's just open up one of these projects and see where it gets deployed out to. So that's fine. Build output path is bin directory. That's not going to go to the right bin directory. That's not going to do what I want it to do. So let's see how I want to do this. What I want to do is let's open up my file explorer and take a closer look here. And we'll go DNN platform. So there's this platform. So all of those projects looks like are going to get built to the respective bin directory. Maybe I missed a setting. Let's go see what happens in here. So all of these were built yesterday. So if I run a build solution, if all those dates stay the same, then we got to copy assemblies over manual, which I don't like, but we'll make it work. Take a minute to build. Hope everyone's having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching from. Thanks for coming out to my Saturday morning stream. All right. So let's check the build failed. Why did it fail? That's not a good starting point. Oh, okay, we can ignore those errors. I hope that didn't bring down my website. Let's go check on my website. Because I tried building the website project as well, which I didn't want it to do. So, oops. Fingers crossed I didn't break anything there. It's probably broken now and I gotta go through that whole setup process again. Whew. Close. Alright. So if... Oh, it did copy over all of those. That's phenomenal. This is doing exactly what I wanted to do. Why did it say build failed though? That's the better question. All packages listed in packages config are already installed. Error, source file could not be... Oh, so it's looking for all these source files in that website project. But since I already ran the installer, they're not going to be there. I wonder if I could just remove those source files for now. I'm not going to check that in, but... let's take a look here. So all under... maybe. We'll see if it actually causes significant problems. Alright, so first things first, I need to figure out how this web config file is generated. So when you open, if you go to the actual repository, so we go back to GitHub, DNN software, and if you actually look under, where is it, website, there's no web config in here. I can search for it. It's not here, right? So all this stuff is generated as part of one of the build scripts, and I always forget where that lives. But the idea here is we're going to create. Oh, that is really tiny to see. Let's fix that. We'll update our fonts and colors. Let's make it big, 16. There, big. Yeah, hope everyone can see that in the back. Let me know in the chat if you're unable to read. I could always make it bigger. So I want to add a key here, and we're going to call it experimental : razor pages. And the value will be true. So what we're going to do eventually with the razor pages, we're going to create, I'm just going to put a to-do here. Include in web config generation. So we just remind ourselves later to include that in the web config generation. But one of the big problems that we have right now in the platform is we have this web.razor project, which is kind of misleading because it's using much older technology. That's at the end of the day, the implementation details are very similar to Razor Pages, but it's not Razor Pages, and we're creating a lot of breaking changes with that. So we're setting this feature flag, so it'll disable this project but enable the new features that we're implementing today. All right, got a sip of coffee, and let's go take a look at the docs that I shared earlier. I'll just grab the link to it. Grab that link. We came up with a set of namespaces that we wanted to go with in projects, and I just wanted to make sure I get everything right. Yeah, so experimental, so that's good. Linked work items. All right, all right. And razor module, razor pages. I thought we had something in here. The razor pages doc. Let's head over here. Maybe this should be the Microsoft docs. And at the Microsoft docs, it's gonna give us, here we go. So that's saying ASP.NET Core.MVC.Razor pages. That's what I was looking for. So that makes sense. So we're going to create a new project. This is it. This is the beginning. We're doing it. We're going to create a new project. Actually, before I do that, I should probably figure out what our project types are here. That just looks like a class library, right? Yeah, class library. So we could do whatever we want with that. Let's do add new project. Class library. I'm going to pick a .NET Standard class library. We're going to be fancy. I want this to go in a very particular location, though, which will be this folder here. We're going to call it .NetNuke.web.mvc.razor pages. We got this right. .mbc.razorpages. Yes. It's going to be a .NET Standard class library. I'm going to hit the Go button, create that project right there. All right. We got it. We're started here. The dog's joining us today, and he won't sit still, but I think he just settled, so that's why I'm kind of looking under my table, like, what's going on under there? He likes to crawl under my desk and just curl up in a little ball all day. It's nice. All right, but you're not here to listen to me talk about my dog. You're here to listen to me talk about other stuff, coding and things. So we created this project, and I like looking at the other examples that we have in here for how we create modules in DNN. So I believe it all ends up going to this control. So this is a project that we're deprecating, but it's a simple example. So the iModule control factory is what's important here. So we create that, and then that creates the Razor host control in our case. Everything kind of cycles through itself. Let me clean up my workspace here. All right. And if we take a look at this one, there should also be a module control factory that's doing similar things. So let's take some notes here. So we need an iModule control factory. Get a little bigger. What else do I need here? There's this host control also. And that gets all of our route parameters and so forth. Okay. Now the thing that I did like about the Razor module here was well, I didn't fully agree with some of the things that happen in here based on just the way it ended up getting used. It provided some really nice simple implementations of this module pattern. So it uses this thing that it calls the Razor engine. Oops, that wasn't the right keystroke. There we go. So we got this Razor engine. All right. Let's read in the code. Read in the code, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. No. Maybe it wasn't that guy. No, not in that one. That's maybe you got thrown into the helpers. No. I was looking for something unrelated to this. When switch over to my other camera, desktop self-service. So when you're working on something like DNN, it's in what is it, about 20 years old now, something like that. It's an old open source project, and which is really great and all, but some of the things in it, you have to be careful about the changes you make, since so many people are using this technology out in the wild. It's a content management system that thousands and thousands of people use. So when we make a change, we have to make sure we follow certain deprecation patterns and we support different things. So before I even started writing a line of code today, I had to go through and figure out which APIs we're deprecating that are going to be a breaking change. And anything that uses those deprecated APIs in the platform, I already went ahead and made changes to that. So I was just looking for some of the code that I wrote that was in a different part of the platform, and it's been a few weeks. I forgot where it was, but it's just something important you have to consider when you're working on large enterprise applications, long time running open source projects that are used out in the wild the way DNN is used. So we're just making sure we're not breaking anything. Let's go back to the code. All right, so this is all fine and dandy. So what I want to start looking for is we want to find the module pipeline, as I call it. I forgot the technical name it's in the platform. So I'm actually just going to search for CS/HTML, which should be an easy way to find it. I think it just popped up at the top there. So this is one of the points of access. And we're going to pin this to the top because I don't want to lose it. So the module control factory. And when modules run on the page, it comes through here, figures out what type of module it needs to be based off of the extension, okay? And then it runs the necessary logic. So we got web forms up at the top, simple HTML modules. This is part of the reason why we need that feature toggle, because the web.razor implementation is looking for a CS or VB HTML, which is not what we want moving forward. We want that to be looking for Razor pages. If it has a .mvc extension, it's looking for an MVC module type. But this is where things get a little funky. This is not the extension inside of the file per se. This is the extension, the module definition file, which we're hoping to unify this a little bit more as we make some of these improvements. So the module definition file will map to the same as the extension on the file, which will that was really a big confusion thing for me, and I'll show you what one of these files look like in just a second. Let's open one up because we had a couple modules already included here at the platform. So this is your standard DNN manifest file if you haven't seen it before. And you notice down here that it's got this control source line, and it has .ascx. So that's really good for web forms because that maps one-to-one, right? But if this was an MVC module, we would have to put MVC at the end of these, even though the file itself would be a CS/HTML file. So it generates quite a bit of confusion. All right, so we're going to say if it is a CS/HTML file, and I should be able to do configuration manager app settings. Can I do hash key? That's a value indicating. So if we have the key of experimental dot razor pages, and oh, that's just hash keys. So maybe I want to do like contains. Let's do gets the key at the specified location. Nope. Let's go up to the top. Let's add some link here. Using system.link. And I'll say app settings dot Maybe I can do keys.contains. Why? Why won't that work? Well, we'll just do this for now, and we'll test it and see what happens. So we're going to say if this value, which is going to be a string that returns, is equal to true. It's going to yell at me, which is okay. We'll fix that in just a second. Let's say we'll just do bool is razor pages equals to bool dot try parse, and we're going to say our value is configuration manager dot app settings experimental razor pages. Perfect. And I'll say out bool is razor pages. Hopefully they'll let me use the newer C# syntax. Feature out variable is not available in C#. C#6? What project are we in? We're in library. Let's fix that. We're using .NET 4.7.2. There's no reason why we shouldn't be. Yeah, let's update to 7. Don't tell them. Let them look at it at the pull request. I'll mention pull request. Joke set aside. Alright, so now what I could say is that, I mean, there's no reason why we should still be on C#6 here. We're talking about C#8 right now. So we're saying if hold on one second. I have a message that I have to answer really quickly. So I am just gonna I guess I don't have that scene set up. Alright. Sorry about that. Just an important message I needed to read and respond to real quick. Okay. So we were talking about this is razor pages flip here. So and so we're gonna say, this is gonna be another to-do statement, not jQuery. We're gonna say to-do, load razor pages factory. Else we're gonna go down the standard code path. But what I'm thinking we're gonna do is we're gonna try and do a fall through logic. So control cannot fall through from one case label to another. Can't. Okay, well that's fine. So I'll just break here. And I'll just say factory type equals probably just the same way that we've done stuff in this file. I'm just going to put another note in here to do consider including project and using strong types instead of string reflection. I don't like how it's doing this reflection.create type. I think that's a holdover from when this was originally built. So I hope. I'll never know. So I mean, we'll try and cleaning that up in a little bit. So the other thing I wanted to do is, let's add another statement down here, and we're going to say if it is not Razor Pages, we can do all of this. What's it saying? A local variable function named as Razor are defined in the scope. So I'm going to define this actually up here. There we go. Something like that. That way I don't need you. Don't need you. Oops. All right. So we got all the things hooked in for that, which is good. So the next thing we could start, I think there's one more file very similar to this. I thought there was another file, so let's check those find results. No. No, those are just, maybe it was just this one thing. Okay. So let's see what we can do for this then. I mean, let's just point it to the other type of module, just for funds, and we'll update this later. But since we already have that other type of module loaded up, we could change the manifest in one of these things to be, CSHTML and see if it still works. All right, so let's do that. Let's do the DDR menu because I'm familiar with that one. Well, I need to reinstall this, or should I just be able to update the assembly? That's the better question. Let's just create a new module, and we'll just gut it and be good to go. So what I'm going to do is head over to our modules, DNN platform. There should be module folder. I'm going to copy this module, and well, yeah, we're going to copy this module. I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to say DDR menu Razor Pages. All right. And we're going to rename some things in here, just so it's easy for us. So as part of this, this change, I want to try and get an existing module converted over to Razor Pages as kind of a template for others to start following. All right, so we got that. I should just be able to include the project now under the modules. Let's add existing project. Select platform. Say modules. Razor Pages. All right. And now I'm going to gut it because I don't really want a lot of this stuff in it. So don't want you. Don't want you. Don't care for you. Don't care about that. What's in the JS folder? Nope. Don't care about that. That. It's fun when we get to just remove stuff. It's hard to build stuff. Alright, delete. Delete. And I am just gonna go delete all that. module.build. I can't delete that one. That's probably like the build script that triggers MS build stuff. We'll keep release notes. Get rid of that stuff. Solution info. Let's see, what do we say? .NetNuke. We'll call that .razor pages. Ported to DNN razor pages. Let's make sure our namespaces have been updated. Oh, we don't get any conflicts. Razor pages and .razor pages. Save that. Build. Yeah, this all looks good to me. Let's take a look at this build script. I want to see what it's doing. Did I? Oh, I must have accidentally deleted the manifest file. Oops. We'll just create a new one. No biggie. Copy. Paste. They add. Yeah. It's a XML file. So we'll just do XML file. I'll say DDR menu. Razor pages. .dnn. Paste. So we're going to call it DDR menu razor pages. And the name will have razor pages, navigation provider, that's fine. All of that's fine. Business controller class. Don't care about that one anymore. Yeah, I don't think we have that at all anymore. Even in the current version. Let's find out. Yeah, I'm not seeing that at all. I think that was just a holdover from when this module was first created. So, gone. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Module, oops, put a little character in there. From the name, razor pages. Okay, so now we're actually in the module definition versus the package. Like when you're up here at the top, you're defining the actual package. A package can contain many modules. So now we're actually in our module definition. And it's going to live under DDR. So this is not going to work for us right now since we'll have two DDR menus. So I'm going to rename this to include razor pages. This control source is actually looking for a location on disk. So if I was to open this up, we go to our website code. Oops. We go to our website code here and we go to desktop modules. We're going to have this DDR menu folder here where, so we need to create a razor pages one. So that's what we're going to do. We'll call it index.cshtml. Supports partial rendering. I don't really know about this other stuff. I really don't. And I'm going to comment out the edit stuff. We'll come back to that one. And I'm going to comment this out. I don't want. I'm going to comment this out. We'll come back to some of this stuff later. Promise. Comment that out. This part's important. Component is assembly. So we want to make sure that we pass over the correct assemblies. And we've already renamed this module to be razor pages. It's source file. That's good. the DDR menu will be updated to Razor Pages. This is something that the build generates as a resource.zip file, so that's fine. As far as updating the web config, I'm going to comment this one out because we're not going to worry about that too much. Not right now. What this code here is doing is updating the web config to specify that it's using the DDR menu as its navigation provider. It's more of a DNN thing where you can have different providers to handle different things. But when we run the installer for this module, I don't want it to be updating the web config. Not yet. This is kind of a complicated module to port, but we're trying to use it as make it as simple as we can. I'm going to get rid of this one as well. Just commenting stuff out. We're going to say this requires 9.4. Okay. Now, let's go take a look at what this build script is actually doing. Sip of coffee. Alright. And I just realized that this entire time I was not showing my screen for the past 40 minutes or so. Oops. I don't got a lot of viewers here, so I'm kind of just talking to myself while I'm doing this, which is fine. So, if you're watching the recording, sorry that you've been watching me talk for the past 30 minutes. Just skip ahead. It's fine. But I was working on the screen here and just updating the manifest file. Maybe I'll post on Twitter again that you guys should come hang out with me. Let's do that before we go any further. See if I can get any new friends in here. It's lonely in here. I'll make a joke of myself. It took me 40 minutes to realize that focus assist priority only. It took me 40 minutes to realize I was not sharing my code screen, just my webcam. Oops. Alright. Well, it is still showing the old title, which is deceiving, because we're not doing Xamarin today. We're doing DNN. But I digress. Okay, so this is the build script that we're looking at. So it's going to import that. That's fine. Let's just scroll through. And I guess let's see what happens. I want to open up the command prompt, developer command prompt. That's what I want. Alright, so if I head on over to our location here, be platform, there we go. Should be, let's see, what folder do I want? I want the DNN platform. That's what I want. And then I want modules. And we're in the Razor Pages ones. We'll do DDR menu, Razor Pages. I'm going to say ms-build module.build. Target build does not exist in this project. How does this even get referenced then? Let's unload this one and take a look at the bits of it. Edit. Build scripts. Okay. Okay. Don't care about that. So it's going to include the module.build as part of the content, which is fine. Looking for, okay, so the imports project builds. Maybe it gets run as part of the CS project build, and I don't need to run directly. Last year, I was working for a company where all of our builds were using these XML build files, and not the CS proj files. So we always had to open up command prompt and run the build manually, like I was just trying. Looks like that's not the case here, which is good. Let's open up our file explorer here and take a look at what got generated. All right, and so we got our dependencies here. Interesting. I don't think I need that. I was hoping that I'd see an installer file somewhere laying around here. Maybe I need to build it in release mode. Let's try release. I'll hit the build. Oh man, those are lots of errors, but that's for the entire solution. Current project. Could not find DDR menu.dnn. Okay, so that's fair. Since we just copied it, I was starting to do all sorts of things I should not have been doing. So let's just make sure that everything here is accurate. So that's good. That looks good. That's fine. That's fine. Yes, those are fine. DDR menu.dnn. I mean, that's what the error message said, right? It was looking for that manifest file. Unless the module build is looking for that DDR menu. We need to update all of these. All right. Oops. Razor pages. I'm just gonna copy pasta all of this. DDR menu. I think that might have did it. So let's try and build. Could not find DDR menu.dnn. Well, no, because we renamed it. I mean, but I'm not seeing where where that's being referenced. DDR menu.dnn. I mean, we'll just. It's got to be getting referenced in a file that I'm missing. Hmm. Well, it says it's not going to be referenced as a compile. It's just a none file. So let's make sure that's what's happening here. Well, it's saying that's a content file, so we're going to make that be none. Could not copy license.txt because it was not found. Well, I think we're making progress. I want to update these because these paths should say Razor pages. I don't want any conflicts here. Yeah, that looks good. Perfect. No license.txt, so we're just going to copy that over. Perfect. And we're going to run the build again. We'll do a rebuild this time. Alright, it's saying .NetNuke.dll could not be found. So that's a better error message, right? I don't know what that is. I don't need it. .NetNuke.library. Where is that supposed to be living? It's saying that, man, it looks like it's a project reference. Let's go see what's going on. Tune in this week and watch me struggle. Okay, so that's there. .NetNuke library, it's a project reference, but it's saying it can't be found. Let's just clean that. Let me read the output window. This might give us a little bit better insight of what's going on. Feature out variable declaration is not available in C#6. I thought I updated that to be C#7. You know what? I probably just updated it for debug and not for regular mode. So let's go fix regular mode. Watch. C#6. Easy fix. 7. Done. Save. Alright. Let's do the rebuild here. So if we open up our File Explorer, maybe we have an installer file in here, but I'm not holding my breath anyways. Huh. It's supposed to create something when you do it in release mode, I thought. What does the build do then? Let's see what the build is actually doing to generate these. It should be like a external extensions, okay. Well, that's frustrating. I was really hoping that running the build here would generate our installer file. Well, unless I gotta like specify a target. Hmm. Maybe I need to do like MS build package. Let's try that. Module.build/t for target and say package. That's not doing it for me either. See, this is why I write my own build scripts for all this stuff. I find this unnecessarily complicated. But that's okay. Tune in this week and watch how to manually build a DNN manifest file or installer file. Because this is frustrating. So let's see, what do we got in here? We have assemblies. The only assembly I'm concerned about is ddr-menu.razor pages, and then we have this resource file, which is just going to have things in it, which is fine. So let's build it. I sometimes have to do this, and it's frustrating, but I'm going to call this installer. And we're going to have a folder in there called bin. So if you look at the source file name, it says bin, and then it has the thing. So we're going to do that. So new folder, call it bin. Set up here, and we're going to go and copy this thing over. And we're not going to need to do this every single time. It's just going to be on the first time because I need to create the changes in the database to accept that we have a new thing, a new module, and then it'll just copy stuff over for us for free, which will be nice. And then I need some files. So I'm going to create a new item. Let's see what shows up. Web page, web page. Let's try this one. It's a index.cshtml. It's gonna have some dependencies in it that I don't care about. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted, but it's a start. Let's take a look at some of the docs here. We're gonna need to create a CSHTML CS page as well. So I'm gonna do add new item, call it a class. Say it's index.cshtml.cs. I'm actually going to remove all of that because I don't need that. And we're just going to say like div hello world. Just taking a quick look back over here. So that's going to extend a page model. We'll deal with that stuff later. That's just kind of a placeholder. Placehold, placehold, placehold. That's fine. I gotta look this up because it's gonna bother me. CS proj nested files. There's a certain syntax that I need. So, yep, there we go. So I should be able to come in here, do unload, yes. And I'm going to try and get it so those files are nested. So if we go to the actual location of the index.cs HTML file, there should be, like, yeah. Let's make sure we're getting some of this stuff right. So they call it index model. It extends page model. We'll update that in a minute. So I'm going to remove that. We're going to go up to our CS.html file. So we're going to compile. That is dependent on that. So we're going to say just that. Compile. Update. I want to see what I include. Right? Yeah, so it's going to be include. Where did that CS.html file go? So it's right here. So we'll do compile, include. And then it's going to say the next line is dependent upon index.cs.html. Let's see what that does. Oh, we got it flipped, I think. This is showing our CS file, and I want it to be the other way around. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, but I like the stuff to be nice. So I want to. What was the syntax before? I think I said content first, but we're going to leave it as compile for now. Let's see what that does. Oops. We'll do reload. Cool. Kind of. That's funny because it shows world-hello. We're not going to mess with this anymore. Let's undo that. We'll just add those files back in. It's fine. And we'll say add new item. We'll just do this one. I'll say it's index. We could take a look at tooling later. That's stuff we can always fix. So we'll say index.cs.html, or should I call it index page? What do they call it here? They just say basic page. There we go, index.cs.html. So we'll just leave it at that. Say hello world. And then for their model, they called it index model. So we're going to call it that. And create a class. Call it index model. Doesn't need to do anything. That's fine. So then in our manifest, we can just include that CS.html file. This model will get shipped as part of the assembly, which is good. So let's go and update our manifest file. This is a lot of stuff to get this working, I know. So index, that's fine. Razor pages, make sure it's included in our resources.zip. So going back to the installer that we're building, I'm going to create a new folder in here. We're going to call this resources. And inside there, I'm going to take this CS.html file and drop this here. And this is just going to include pretty much all of our views. So I'm going to just zip this file up. There we go. And then I need to copy over our manifest file. That's good. Resource base path would be desktop modules. That's where we want to go. Our file name is resources.zip. That looks right to me. CS.html, that looks right. I don't think I need this information, but we're just going to leave that there. DDR menu, DDR Razor Pages menu, because that's what we're doing, Razor Pages. Alright, so that all looks solid to me. So I'm going to take this, just copy it in here. Should probably copy over our license and release notes because the manifest file references it. Done. And I will zip that up. Now we got an installer. Make sure everything is in there that I want. Didn't do it right. That's fine. Having that folder there would cause problems. So, and I can actually just manually deselect that folder because we don't need that. I'm going to zip this up. There we go, perfect. So this is what an installer file looks like in DNN. It's just a zip file. So now, then I can come over here to our platform running our 9.4 alpha version and see what we can do to get this working. Get some coffee. There we go. So I'll just log in with my host user. Says I was able to log in, which is good. Alright. And if I come over here to, where is it? Under extensions, I can just install modules here. So let's install the thing that we just made. So we'll head over to my DNN folder where I got all this stuff. DNN platform, modules, Razor Pages, installer zip. It's going to say that this is an invalid. Oh, that is the first time it actually worked on the first try. Every time I've built one of these from scratch like this, it's always said, oh, you forgot this file, or your manifest is something else. So this is exciting. Yes. Well, that's just the release notes that were copied over. We'll just accept our license. It installed. Oh my gosh. I've never seen this work on the first try. I can't believe it. It worked on the first try. So let's go check our bin directory now. We should have something called .NetNuke, .modules, .ddr, somewhere in here. What was our namespace, our assembly? Oh, it's web, my mistake. So .NetNuke, .web, look at that. That is so cool. It worked on the first try. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Okay, this is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a sandbox page for us to play around in. So we'll just call it sandbox. Update the permissions so everyone can view it. Add page. And now it'll create the page. Okay, let's get rid of this module. I don't want this module. I want my new Razor Pages module, which we haven't really written any platform code for yet, so it's not really going to do a whole lot, but we got this DDR menu Razor Pages right here. This is cool. Worked on the first try. See, there's already errors, which is fine. I'm expecting it to have errors like this. I don't care. Not worried. Not worried at all. But we have our Razor Pages sample module on this page. So all of that work we just spent how long? Like the past 40 minutes doing was just to get to this point here so we can actually start making changes, which is cool and long and annoying, but it's okay because now we can go back to our platform code and start doing stuff. And just to refresh our memory on what we just created was we created a module that's going to say hello world. Maybe we'll say hello from Razor Pages. No, we'll just say hello world from now. We'll change that to later. Oh no. So I just got a notification that we had someone that's a new follower. What does that say? Vitamin Jeff just followed me, but it did not show up on the screen here, which is upsetting. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Vitamin Jeff, for the follow. I guess my Streamlabs integration is going a little slow there, but that puts us up to 48. 2 more followers, and I'm at 50, halfway to my goal. Thanks, everyone, for coming and hanging out today. Now it's it's Saturday morning. Oh, no, it's actually Saturday afternoon. Just afternoon for me. Probably morning if you're out on the West Coast. 4 viewers now. We're getting the count up. Excited to have everyone join me for DNN work today. DotNetNuke. Alright, so now that we got our module working, we can go back to our module control factory, right? And I should be able to drop a breakpoint here. We should be able to hit it. We haven't really done a whole lot, so I'm just going to do that. Let's look. So that's going to our DNN development W3 process. So let's attach that. Should let us hit it. Let's see what happens. No, it's not letting us hit it. Why? I mean, that was the whole point of doing this inside the solution, so we can do easy debug. Oh, you know what? I've been building everything in release mode, so it's probably been getting copied over. So let's rebuild the library. And that should copy everything over. So if timestamp is 12:37, let's make a mental note of that. We're over here. It should just be .NET 12:37 is our update, so that looks like that got copied over. Let's do a refresh here. Attach our W3 WP process. If you've never done any debugging of a DNN website, I always find it best to have it full IIS configured, and then just what I'm doing is I'm going to the debug, and there's an attach to process. I'm just doing hotkeys for it, Control Alt P, or I think I do Alt D, and then I hit P. All right, cool. So our breakpoint's getting hit. His Razor Pages should be false. False. That's good. Our factory type is loading. That's good. So now what I can do is I can head over to our module control factory, and I'm just going to drop breakpoints everywhere. Make sure we don't miss anything. Yeah. But this mod, but this is also built in release mode, and so that's probably not going to hit right. We'll try reloading the page one more time. Yeah, that's probably not getting hit. So let's just rebuild the whole solution. Set a piecemeal on this. Letting it build. Alright, it says it's failed, but we can ignore that failure. Yeah. That's fine. We'll rebuild that. Attach our debugger. And we'll try and hit some breakpoints going into the Razor module control factory. Okay, breakpoint hit. F5. Still spinning. Nothing. Okay. Why not? Let's try reloading this page again and see what's happening. I think there's an exception that's happening somewhere that I'm not noticing. So if we return our control factory, okay, this is still in the library code. Is debug enabled? Well, it kind of is, but whatever. So we have our control. Oh, there's an exception. See, I knew it. I knew it. Object reference not set to the instance of an object. It's our favorite exception. What line did this get thrown at? Stack trace. We're in module host. 297 is where it got thrown, right here. I'm going to drop a breakpoint there so we can inspect that a little bit more. Alright, module configuration, that's fine. But module control is null. Why is module control null? That's the question. Let's see where that gets set. So when we do that, ensure children controls, control as iModule. But didn't we just set control? Like, wasn't that a thing we just did? Right. That doesn't make sense. How is that null when we just set that? Weird. Alright, so I hit F10 here. Let's debug it again. Control factory. Okay. But we just returned something. That doesn't make any sense. I must be losing my mind here. F11. Control factory is equal to null. The CSHTML. Oh. Oops. Oops. Let's fix this. See what I did wrong. I see the error of my ways. So I just added a factory tab. I never actually set the control factory. Because yeah, stupid. And I know I'm just having redundant and duplicate code here, and this is just all temporary because our current Razor pages, I'm using air quotes here, our current Razor pages implementation is just using the same existing stuff there that we're going to rip out later, which is fine. Let that build. And so now it's going to return a control factory, so that should give us a little bit more promise, or a little bit better results than what we are seeing. Thanks everyone for coming and hanging out on Saturday morning, afternoon, watching me do some .NetNuke coding here. All right, so that worked. Let's we'll hit the go button here. Go, go, go. Sip of coffee. All right. Just giving it a second because it's got to reload everything. Oh, that is a much more promising result. Nothing on the screen is better than an error message. So that tells me that we should be getting over to the Razor engine. So let's let's attach our debugger and actually see what's happening. So I'm gonna hit F5. Perfect. Look at where we are. We're where we want to be. Okay. So looking at this stuff, I am curious about how did we get here? Our control source, that's useful. So Razor pages index CSHTML. Great. And it's gonna go into here, specifying our control source is desktop modules, DDR menu, Razor pages, index CSHTML. I want to verify that is a thing. DDR. See, it's not a thing. So that's a problem. We said it was a thing, but it's really not a thing because it's under resources. You see, this is where we start running into these problems. That makes sense because it's why it's empty. So if I hit F11, it's going to say our script path is. Let me highlight that. Oh, it went away. It's not going to let me do that. Saying our script path is going to be in the root. So if I update this to be resources, which is not really what I want to do, but let's just update it for funsies. So now it's going to return our control object. So we're back over in the library code base, and that control is going to be set, and it's going to do a thing with the control. So if I hit F5, we get back to this thing that was null earlier. That's got stuff to it. That's cool. That's not broken anymore. So I hit F5. Oh, I got breakpoints set all over the place. Oops, I don't want to do that. Do you want to stop debugging? No. But I want to hit F5. There we go. Hello world. That's cool. It's showing up now because the path is incorrect. And since my focus right now is not getting the module set up correctly, it is getting the pipeline set up correctly. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to take this index.cshtml and I'm just going to drop it here in the root. Problem solved. All right. So, wow, that's a handful. Let's go make some commits here so we don't lose anything. Okay, don't care about that. A lot of noise gets generated here when we run these builds, so I'm just gonna ignore just about all of it. Library, module control factory, ignore you, DDR. So, ooh, that has stuff from the bin directory. I don't want that. So I want this. So let's stage those changes. Let's stage those changes. Right now it's just that installer. I don't care about the installer. Just looking through. When we run the build, it goes through and updates everything. It's really important for when you're running this stuff locally, which is what we're doing right now. Ignore all of that. Ignore all the website code. I want to include this because that's going to include the references to all of our projects that we're adding right now. I want to include the library change. Yeah, let's include that. And there was one other change. I want to include this project skeleton. Yeah, so now I'm adding. Alright, so let's say added new Razor Pages project. Razor Pages projects stub. Added DDR menu Razor Pages module clone. And updated DNN library to compile using C# 7.0. See, I said I wasn't going to hide the fact. It's right there in the commit history. Very important. So we'll say commit stage. I'll give a second because all of my open source commits are secured using GPG. So I'll type in my password, super secure password. All right, cool. So now, if we were to head over to our web config, let's just say we went over to our web config file. Where is it? It's under websites, right? Beginning, we set this to true, right? So it is using the new code path. So if I set that to false, nothing should change here. We should still get hello world. Let's see what happens when we do that. Perfect. So this is good. What happens when I comment this out though? I don't want anything to break if they forget to include these things. Perfect. Ah, what buttons am I hitting? Hitting all the wrong buttons on my laptop. There we go. So I want to set that to true. Reload that page. Okay. Is it the module control factor? Yes. So let's go and take a look at the references for .NetNuke library. I should just be able to come in here and say add reference to project .NetNuke.web.mvc razor pages. We'll hit the OK button here. And that builds, I'll be ecstatic because our new .NET Nuke web.razorpages is a .NET Standard compliant project, and if we can just use that now, oh, that's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to take a step back for a second and show you guys stuff that we were working on earlier. So down at the bottom of this epic feature that we've created here in GitHub and spec, we started linking all these other work items, right? So that's a deprecation one. Here it is. So this one is really important. If you take a look at the .NET Standard compatibility chart, let's open that up. So if we do .NET Standard chart, .NET Standard compatibility. Let's try that. I think it's called the compatibility chart. It might just be on the .NET Standard webpage. Here it is. Implementation support was the word I was looking for. So if you look here, we have the different versions of the .NET Standard. If you're not familiar with it, it is a standard list of APIs that are implemented in different versions of .NET Runtime. So we got .NET Core, .NET Framework, Mono, all of the Xamarin ones, UWP, Unity. So we recently updated .NET Framework to 4.7.2, which was a really big thing. We got a couple asterisks next to .NET Framework for 4.6.1 support. It's really recommended to use .NET Framework 4.7.2 or higher. You can see that down here at the bottom. So we were on .NET 4.5, which really only gave us access to 1.0 and 1.1, which there's not a whole lot of APIs in that. If you were to when .NET Standard was first released, I upgraded a lot of my Xamarin projects to use it. We ran into a lot of problems because of the APIs just weren't there and we couldn't leverage it. But 2.0 has so many APIs, and 2.1's right around the corner. There's a lot more APIs being released in the standard. So the fact that we're on the platform is now in 4.7.2, we're able to use a 2.0 .NET Standard 2.0 project, which is very, very important because when we migrate to .NET Core with DNN, if we're already adding new code as .NET Standard compliant code, and it solves a lot of problems for us. So when my dog really wants to be on the live stream. He's making all sorts of noise. It's probably getting picked up on the microphone. We'll finish up and go out and play soon. All right. So we will finish up soon, probably another 40 minutes or so, and we'll be wrapped up for the day. So our new project is a .NET Standard 2.0 compliant project. So I created .NETNuke web.mvc.razorpages. So if we open this up, we take a look at it, .NET Standard 2.0. That's good. And so we were just able to add this into our .NETNuke library. So if we look for .NETNuke web MVC Razor pages. So what happens if you are not familiar with .NET Standard is it says, oh, this is a .NET Standard 2.0 project that implements .NET 4.6.1 or 4.7.2. Let's see if our project is compatible to it. So it's going to come in and say, oh, we're a 4.7.2 project. So let's run this using the .NET Framework's 4.7.2 runtime and all those APIs. And that's how that all works, which is really, really cool. So now we're going to need to create a factory inside of this new project. And I'm really nervous that we're not going to be able to use .NET Standard for some reason, but we're going to continue moving forward with this and see what we can do. So I'm going to create something called the Razor Pages Module Control Factory. Alright, Razor Pages Module Control Factory. That is going to be an I module control factory that we see there. So we're going to do inherits from I module control factory. Question is, where does the I module control factory come from? It comes from UI modules, which is part of the library. Oh, no. No. Say it ain't so. So much hate. Okay. If anyone's following along super closely in the chat, shout out what you think the problem is here. Makes me a little upset. So the problem here is we have this module control factor, this interface, right? So the definition here is in .NetNuke.UI.modules. Fine. Up here at the top it says .NetNuke.library. So if we go back to where we just were, we're still in .NetNuke.library. So we have a circular dependency here because this interface is included in .NetNuke.library. So what I really want to do is I want to identify if there are any other. So this module is going to be under UI modules. We have a lot of interfaces here. I'm gonna just pull it out because that makes sense to me. So I'm gonna create another project. It's gonna be a .NET Standard project because new code, .NET Standard, be fun. I don't know why this hasn't been done yet, which is fine. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the platform, so it's just the way things are. So we have this library project. So I'm just gonna create. We're gonna go here, .NET DNN platform. I'm gonna call this .NET.library.interfaces. And we're gonna update our namespace on this, I think. Let's think about this a little bit. So we have UI modules, iModule control, iModule control factory. I want both of these elsewhere. And the namespace will still remain the same. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get rid of this. We're going to create a folder here. So we'll say new folder. We'll say UI, new folder, modules. And we're just going to start with the control factory, and we'll move things over as we need to. So that looks good. What is iModule control? That is using web UI. That's okay. This is just making me think a little bit about what we're doing. Because I don't think I can just... Or can I? Let's find out. I should be able to say net 472 reload. Yes. Why is it yelling at me for all of these? No. Let's add a reference. Maybe I need to unload the project and reload it. Something got messed up there. Add a reference. Let's do assemblies. Framework. Okay, let's remove net standard from this. I might just need to keep it in a framework of 472, but we still use a new project configuration, which is cool, or we should be able to at least. Okay, so there's that. So now I should be able to come over here. It's going to give me some red squigglies. Please give me the red squigglies. There we go, red squigglies. Generate template control. Nope. I am just going to need to manually add the reference, which is fine. You add a reference. Assemblies. We'll say system.web. Check. Okay. System.web. Perfect. Where does module info come from? Let's go take a look. Module info is DotNetNukes.entities.modules. So this is a bigger problem than I want to bite off and chew right now. I'm just going to take a note on this. So .NET library has many circular references. We should move shared resources / objects to a contracts or interfaces project to eliminate circular dependencies. So I'll create a GitHub issue on that later so we can track it and figure out how we want to make those changes. But we can do this without making breaking changes to the platform, which is great. But like all those public APIs will remain the same. Even the namespaces, we'll just have to update some of that stuff. But that's going to be a large discussion, I think. I was hoping we'd just be able to move a couple things over, off to the races we go. But that is not the case. So let me go and just clean up what I was going, that path I was going down. It's hard to tell when you're doing these things sometimes if it's going to be a path that's really just not worth it. So if we go back to our module control factory, this is totally a hack. And it's fine that it's a hack. This is what they needed to do. It's large scale enterprise software development. You do these things because it's, you weigh out the pros and cons. Is it worth us refactoring the entire .NET library to have proper references? I don't think so, because that's going to cause more problems than it's going to help. So we'll follow the pattern here. We'll use reflection. We'll grab the assembly like we're doing here, and then we're just going to create the object, and that's fine. It really is. So this iModule control factory. So what we need to do is over here we're going to say add reference. This project's all messed up too. So we'll just unload it and reload it. And I'll say add reference, project reference. And I'm going to try and add our .NET Nuke library. A reference to .NET library could not be added. Adding this project as a reference would cause a circular dependency. Just because I added the reference over here. So we had a, what did they say, a chicken or egg problem? Here it is. So I'm just going to go into references, .NET, that's gone, save that, come back over here, dependencies, add reference, project, .NET library. This will get us access to our interface. And I just want to make sure I didn't mess with the CS proj here. Easy. Still .NET Standard 2.0. Perfect. This is just what we want. I can come in here and say, using control factory. I don't want to do it that way, though. Oh, well, we'll just add the using statement by hand because Visual Studio doesn't like me. .NET UI modules control factory. We will implement our reference to type control claims is defined in system web, but it could not be found. So I need to add a reference to system web here. So this is that part where I said we might be running into problems. So I might need to update our targets. Let me look this up because I've seen this before. So say net standard reference net framework assembly. I know I've looked this up. Referencing net standard assemblies from both using .NET standard with okay. I know I've done this before. No, that's not the blog I wanted to look up. Using net standard with full framework.net. Let's go to Rick's blog. He's usually got some pretty good stuff. Got a compatibility chart there, scrolling down. Still looking, runtime. Okay. Okay. That wasn't very helpful. Not for me, at least. Referencing between, let's see what this one says. I thought there was like a way we can update the CS proj to handle some of this. Like, couldn't we do like a conditional? Because this right now is only going to be used in the framework. So can I do like CS proj conditional reference net 472? Yes. Okay, multi-targeting. Uh-huh. That's what I want. So we're going to do conditional. So we'll say, or multi-targeting. So we're going to say that. We're going to say this is also net 472. And then down here, I'm going to say item group. Condition equals. And I'm actually just going to copy this completely. We'll say condition, we'll say 472, right? And then I could do reference include equals system.web. Save that. Reload. Yes. It's probably going to yell at me about something. Well, it's there. That's good. They both reference that, so what happens when I try running the build here? Let's find out. Projects assets.json doesn't have a target type for .NET Framework version 4. Ensure the restore has run and you have included 4.7.2 in the target frameworks of your project. So that's telling me that the target frameworks of the project is not right. Let's see what the blog said about that. The blog. That property group, net standard, 2.0, colon, net 462. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to the way we had it, like that, right? Maybe what I need to do is I need to do a clean. Where we're in this one here. Delete that folder. Delete that folder. And we'll do a rebuild. Ensure that restore has run and include net 472 in the target frameworks of your project. Let's go and search the Googlies. This has got to be a common thing. I'm just missing something small. Look at a couple of these, see what they say. It is manually deleting the file, which sends a break for .NET 4.0 project present. Add a reference to in the framework section of the project.json. And this is old stuff though. Adding that into the CS proj and needs target framework seems to work. Let's do CS proj multi target frameworks net 472. Updating solution, easily supporting Visual Studio. Maybe this one will be helpful. So that's kind of what we want. And then we say, the different libraries depending on what's going on. That looks accurate to me. Company version, like there's no difference. We're doing same. Oh, let's see what Rick has to say on this one. All right, okay. Target framework, no target. Maybe we do need to do runtime identifier. Target framework. .NET build. Yeah, let's take a look at runtime identifiers then. csproj runtime identifier. The runtime identifier parameter lets you specify semicolon delimited res. We'll try it, see what happens. So that build. So it's still saying does not have a target for. Do I need to? Oops. Let's see. Does not have a target for net 472. I'm going to close the solution because I think something might have gotten messed up. And we'll say DNN modules. Maybe .NET build will be better running the command. So it's saying the imported project allocation.targets was not found. Confirm. I'm in the wrong one. That's why. DotNetNuke, web, MVC, Razor Pages, .NET build. See, this looks better. The reference to type control claims it is defined as system web, but could not be found. Does not implement interface. Well, that's another problem altogether. Alright. So if we come back here, not there, it should still tell me that I need to. Oh, errors look gone. I guess there's something happening with Visual Studio. Generate constructor. X. I'm not entirely sure why it's not trying to implement this. We're just going to slide that over there. That's weird. Make you public. X typo to control. It's using system web UI. Oh, I think I know it. It's saying it's not available for net standard, but it's available for 472. So you can use the navigation bar to switch context. So we come over here to the module control. I want to make sure I get my answer. So it's in the web UI control. So what if I did this? and we said pound if net, I think it's capital, net 472. So pound and if. Well, let me do that. But then this interface won't be implemented in non-net framework code. So I was really hoping that I could avoid this, but I think what we're going to have to do is not make this compliant to Net Standard 2.0, which we'll have to come back and find a way to do this a little bit more elegantly. Reload. Yes. We'll have to, I'm thinking we'll have to create another issue that puts this control behind some type of like iControl object or something. I'm being kind of vague and generic with that. Yeah, it looks like we could probably do that and just have it wrap the control object. Add a note. Add iControl object or similar to wrap system web UI control. This will allow us to use a fully net standard compliant library. Okay. And I might include that in another change later, but we're just gonna one problem at a time is all we're gonna do. So let's move that. I should we're only targeting 472 right now. Might need to unload and reload. There we go. So I should have control dot implement interface. 30 minutes of going down that rabbit hole. Tune in Saturday morning. Watch Andrew go through all of these problems. Okay, so I'm just going to pin this up at the top. There was a Razor host control, right? No, there's a Razor host control factory. That's what I'm interested in. So we're just going to, I really want to keep it as simple as this library is over here. So we're really just going to end up doing a carbon copy for now, and then we're going to be ripping stuff out. But it's important to kind of look through some of this stuff. So I'm going to copy over this logic for now. And we're going to end up ripping some of this stuff out because I don't like the way it all works. But this is just going to be our placeholder code. And for now, I'm going to have this library reference the deprecated library, DotNetNuke, web, Razor. We're going to change that eventually, but for now, it's going to yell at us saying, hey, this is deprecated, don't use it. Ignore those error messages. They're not really error messages for us. Because I want to get our new module pipeline actually configured. I think that'll be a stopping point. So .NET web dot MVC dot Razor pages, and our name here is Razor Pages Control Factory. So we create our factory type, and if it's not null, and we could probably simplify this entire line right here. We'll do reflection, create type, question mark. No, that's not going to do what I want it to do, because that's going to be a type. Shouldn't I be able to do like activator dot create instance module control factory factory type? Should be able to do something like that. What's it going? No overload for create instant takes one argument. Okay, that's fair. Again, strongly typed stuff. Since we're not being strongly typed, we're still gonna have to. Okay, we'll stay consistent with the file. It's very important when you're working on these older things, is always stay consistent with the file. So now we build the solution. Alright. Sip of coffee while I wait for the build. Build failed. It's okay. Just confirm. Yep, I don't care about those error messages. Okay, website built. Let's see if this all works. So we'll head back over to our website. I'm gonna hit refresh. I'm gonna drop a breakpoint because I want to follow the code. I don't think this is gonna work though, because our new Razor Pages module is not included in our bin directory, or at least it shouldn't be. Or maybe one of the build mechanisms that I just triggered copied it over. That's possible. Let's take a look here. Yeah. So this is going to break. It's gonna. Oh, it's not. We don't even got the feature toggle turned on, anyways. So let's go and update. There's got to be like a master build script that does some of this stuff. Build scripts. Build. DNN package module. Build. Build. Platform build maybe. Website install bin providers. DNN package. Oh, it's been deleted. That's not good. Maybe build scripts. So how does it get from here to there? Something I still don't understand. Maybe it's part of this build here? Build events? Package? No. Alright, well, we're just going to do this. We're going to do this my quick and dirty way. I'll add a note. Figure out why Razor Pages is not being copied over to the bin directory. Well, I'm just going to come over here to our handy dandy .NetNuke.web.mbc.razor pages. We can go in here to the bin directory, go grab a debug. Oh, that's probably why, because we got these crazy layers. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet money that's why. If we look over here, let's say the MVC project, it's all flat, so I think we can fix this. I think we can fix this. So if I go to properties here, I should be able to go to build, output path, bin. That should be it. All configurations, bin, save. So if we come back here, I go to Razor Pages. I'm just going to delete both of these. Gone completely. Don't care about them right now. Save that. Oops. And if I do rebuild, we got an object directory. That's good. Good start. I'm nervous to open it. We're going to wait till the bin directory shows up. Got a bin directory. It's still putting it all on net 472. I don't want it to do that though. Things are different now because this is a .NET Standard project, and it's going to put things under runtime versions, which makes sense, but it's causing problems. So I wonder if I do like a post build event, so on successful build, do xcopy bin /net 472 /star do /bin. I wonder if that would do it. The command xcopy exited with code 4. Do I have access to xcopy? Invalid number of parameters. So let's do that. .NetNuke, web, MVC, Razor Pages, xcopy, bin, net 472. Maybe we'll do /bin, flag -d, invalid number of parameters. Let's do that. Xcopy usage. Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I need to do. So we'll do star there. We'll do bin. We'll say /d. Maybe I need to throw those in quotes. Let's try that. 0 files copied. But why? I could use robocopy. Say I should use robocopy anyways. So let's try robocopy. Bin net 472 /star to bin. Robust file copy. I don't think it lets me do the star there. That looked promising. Then I could just delete bin net 472. Do I think armdir? Oops, helps if I spelled that right. -f maybe? /f. Armdir force directory not empty. I want to put these as part of our build script or post build events. Maybe I do /s. No. /s/f. Oh, it's quiet is what I wanted. Perfect. Okay. So I'll come over here. And we're going to say robo copy. We're going to say I'm just going to copy this whole string right there. Control C that. And then I'm going to do arm dir bin bin/net 472. Save. Let's see if this does the trick. Failed. The command robocopy. What's the error message? Let's try that. Not sure why that's not working. Says it works. bin/net 472 and bin. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to do project directory. There's a special command that I need to do. We'll worry about that later. Thought it was gonna be something I could do quickly. We'll just run the command ourselves. Robocopy. Okay, so now that we did that, it's not going to be there. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to copy it over manually. It's going to be these two files here. Website. It all ends up in this directory. And we'll head back over here. And I should be able to drop some breakpoints in. And that's still going to work because we have our web config configured to not use Razor pages. So if we update our web config as well, let me stop the debugger. If we update our, no, it shows experimental Razor pages. That's the thing. Maybe they spelled it wrong. I don't know. We'll just rebuild the solution. That should do it. We'll rebuild. It's fine. All right. Alright, so we got that built, right? I think we got it built. Yeah. Reload the page here. Set my breakpoint. And if it's not reading the app settings stuff, I'm just going to force it to make sure that this code works. And then we're going to have to wrap up. We've almost been going, oh, wow, we're approaching 3 hours, so we'll need to stop. Okay, so that's true. That's good. I guess I had a typo in there. Our factory type is not null. We have our control factory, right? That's good. If I set a breakpoint here, that gets hit. Hello world. Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go commit these changes to my branch. So it's really just a change here, here, and here. Stage those changes. Perfect. And what I'm going to say is add entry point for Razor Pages modules. However, it is currently using the old Razor host. I'll just put a note saying that's going to change, but just kind of document what we did. Commit staged. Put in my password. And we are on branch features. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push that to my fork. It's called people in the community, or a lot of people in the community are really interested in what I'm doing. So we created a new branch there. So if you are interested in taking a look at what I'm doing here, you go to ahuffling, go to DNN.platform. Hey, Crazy Jake. I am working on a new module pipeline for the DNN platform. I will reshare some links in the chat, since it sounds like you got here right at the end. There's a link to my fork, but if you take a look at the GitHub issue here that I just cited, we are working on adding Razor Pages module pipeline into the DNN platform that will allow you to make a Razor Page module that works on the current version targeting 10.0 of DNN, and it will also work on a .NET Core implementation of DNN that we're not sure exactly what version of DNN that will be. So we've been doing a lot of work on this and deprecating certain APIs and getting the platform ready to take some of the changes that we're working on. So what I'm working on right now is actually implementing a basic experimental feature that's going to be shipping with DNN 9.4 that allows you to do simple gets, maybe some posts with Razor Pages as a module pattern. So you're catching the end of my stream right now, where we just kind of got the basic piping done, and next time I'll be working on actually wiring up more of the bits. But there's the links up there in GitHub to learn a little bit more about what I've been working on. But right now, it looks like I got everything in a spot where I am okay stepping away. Thanks everyone for joining me this morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, while I work on some DotNetNuke DNN changes for the future and for .NET Core. I'll change over there. Well, I hope to see everyone in the chat next time, or get a hold of me on Twitter. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.